Hi, this is Evan. I did want to talk today about making every day count in 2019. I've been doing quite a lot of reflecting in the last few weeks, especially looking back at the last year in 2018, and I want to share a little bit about why and how we can make every day count in 2019. Life is really full and really busy, which is the same for most of us. It's pretty constant. There's very little way of having time out. So I like to be really organised. Personally, I'm wired that way, and I enjoy being organised. And I need to be organised as well for the sake of my family. We've got 5 of us in the family, and there's a lot of things happening, so I need to be organised. And there's lots of ways that I'm organised. I think I'm pretty good at it most of the time. So like I've got a Google Calendar with about 5 different calendars, 5 different colours of different aspects of life in my calendar. I use a task management list program called Trello, where I dump everything that's in my head, work and just whatever's going on at home as well in my head there. I sort of write a one-liner after work each day about what I've done and how long things have taken. I have a year planner which I do at the end of each year, and you might have seen that in a video I did a couple of years ago with Joe about planning on a serviette. And I'm pretty good with my emails as well, so I'm fairly on top of things, but things still slip through the gaps along the way, and life goes faster and faster. It doesn't get easier. So I've been doing some thinking and looking back at the last year. 2018 was actually a pretty sucky year for me. It was not a lot of fun. I wasn't fulfilled. I was diagnosed in winter with seasonal affective disorder, and I found that just a really difficult time where I had very little motivation. I didn't have the energy to do much more than sort of get up, get the kids to school, go to work, come home, and then crash in a heap once everyone was in bed. And I don't enjoy that. There are lots of things that I want to do, but I just didn't have the energy to be able to do that. I wasn't nurturing good habits. I wasn't investing time well, and there was sort of like a really bad cycle going on. And so along the way, it's very easy then to become unfocused and not doing things that are going to be life-giving for me. My fear was that going into 2019, things could be the same again, especially coming out of summer and heading into winter later on, not feeling like I was able to get the things done and achieve the goals that I want to achieve. And it's never fun feeling unmotivated and not having the energy to do the things that you love. So there's also a fear about losing what I love the most, and for me that's a lot around creativity and music and things like that. So what I've been doing in the last few weeks is sort of spending quite a lot of time reflecting and planning on how I can sort of look forward to this year much more, how I can set things in place to get to achieve some goals, to be more motivated, to have more energy and more time to be creative, and just to be really deliberate and focused. And I think that's really a key thing for me this year. So I want to share with you how the process I've been through and how maybe that can help you as well. So like probably a lot of people do, at the end of a year, I reviewed my last year. I had a look at what went well, what are some things that I really enjoyed, and then what didn't go well along the way as well. And so I listed all that out. I've got like a journal here, and I did a lot of soul searching in this journal. What went well and what didn't go well, and then what I wanted to get out of 2019. So some things that didn't go well was feeling like I didn't have a lack of purpose and joy, having a lack of margin, not enough self-care, all those sorts of things. And then going into this year, I want to have more joy, more margin, more time for music, looking after my health better, and sort of listing some ways that I can do that. And yet they're all the normal things that, you know, you do. So when you sit down at the end of the year or the start of a new year, and you sort of do some of that planning. So that's pretty straightforward. But what I've sort of spent some more time doing after that was drawing a mind map, like, of my whole life, every aspect of life, of my life. So I had like my 2 work places. I have my personal, sort of what the things that I enjoy for me, and then also my family. And it's a whole massive tree. I can show you, I'll send you a link later on. And so I mapped out my mind, and that then helped me to set some goals for each of the major areas of my life this year. And then I also want to look at the process that I was taking for planning my life, basically, because, you know, I sort of do some things okay, like sort of, you know, once a year stopping and planning out, but then there was a lot of stuff I was missing along the way. So I want to show you just a way that of looking at how I can plan and act and then review things on a much more regular basis. So hopefully this will work. Can I switch the camera around? One camera around, going down this way. All right, here we go. Before this thing breaks on me, which it already has. All right. So this is what I have in mind. Let's get a nice blue one. Bring that down. We're going to draw a circle. Boom. Everyone see the circle? And then one to there, there, and there. So we're going to have it's a bit of a cycle with planning. So let me write this out a little better. Plan, do or act, and then review. And so when on the planning side of things, we're sort of looking to the future. I'm on the wrong tool, it doesn't look very good. On the do side of things, that's the present, and that's, you know, the actual getting things done. And on the review, that's sort of looking back at the past. Now, because that is so uncool, this is one I prepared earlier. Yeah. So on the planning phase, we're looking to the future, and, you know, how we can do, you know, how you want to improve on things. And then the doing is what you actually do, and then the review is looking back at what's happened. So that's where I think where I was falling over is that, you know, I do a little bit of planning, I do a lot of doing, but if I'm not sort of focused on the right things, then it just turns into procrastination and wasting time. And then I was missing the review stage for most of what I did, except for, you know, at the end of the year when you sort of do your annual review. So back to me. Hope this works. Hope I haven't busted everything. Can't have. Whoa. What's going on? Okay, I might just have to hold it. That's kind of not cool. Okay. So, does that make sense? I think it kind of does. So I had to identify my weaknesses, and my weaknesses were that I didn't review things regularly. I was sort of reviewing once in a blue moon and not taking time out to do that. And so I needed to plan more regularly at the start of each day and the start of each week. That's both for each job that I have and for my personal and family life as well. So I've, in my calendar, mapped out an hour at the start of each week for each job, and then one morning a month for each aspect of those things as well, to spend to doing a stock take. So being able to sort of visualize on a high level a little bit more as part of, you know, goal planning. This thing is falling apart, so maybe I just have to hold it. Excuse me, gang. Got it? Okay. And then the next thing that I did was to I want to sort of be able to visualize on a more high level, in a more high level way. So part of that was drawing my life map. Let's see if I've got it here. I think I actually do. And let's switch this around. So this is me, and this is my head in a nutshell. So this is me, this is my first job, this is my second job, this is the rest of me, and this is my family and home situation. And whatever that is for you, you can draw that up. I've just used a tool here called coggle.it. I've also got another one where I sort of did a map for my job of just how all that works, and that's on a tool called MindMaster. So yeah, there are lots of free tools where you can do that sort of thing and mind map. But also what I want to do was sort of have like a bit of a life dashboard, which I've been working on. I won't show you right now because it's not really finished, but where I can sort of see everything at a glance, high level and sort of in a bit more detail. Another thing that I've been doing is to have block out, like map out sort of in planning my whole week where my blocks of time are. And this is really interesting. If I can show you, I have a scrap version. Yeah, so here's a scrap version here. We've got the day of the weeks, and then the theme for each day of the week. So work 1, there's work 2. This is my rest day at the moment, and there's my other day of the week. So I've got 3 days a week on St. Hills, 2 days a week on Digital Team Coach. There's a family day on Saturday, and Thursday is my rest day. And then I mapped that out and sort of drew it up a whole lot nicer, which it's a bit hard to see, but come on, focus. Something like that. Something like that. There you go. Hard to see it. So then I can see at a glance when I'm sort of mapping out my week where everything is on a fairly regular basis, when I've got a fairly routine week. The other thing that this shows me is that I actually have time for myself, even if I didn't think that I do. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 evenings essentially a week where it's my time. I get to decide what I want to do after we've fed the kids and read and played and put them to bed. And then I've also got, on my day off, I've also got 3 other blocks of time. Now these blocks of time are roughly 2-hour blocks of time, because I figure that like with something that I want to do or a task that I need to achieve at work, you can sort of map out a task for a goal in approximately 2 hours, because there are going to be interruptions sometimes that you can't avoid, and other things happen along the way, or you have meetings. But with that sort of roughly 2-hour block of time, and it could be more, it could be less, I can sort of map at the beginning of the week in my weekly review what I'm going to be spending my time on, so I can be very focused and deliberate in sort of achieving the goals that I have. So and the other thing that I said that this shows me is that I've actually got 5 plus 3 blocks, 8 blocks of time to myself each week. So I've actually got no excuse to say I don't have time to do anything anymore. The time's there, we're all human, we've all got 24 hours in a day, and I've actually got time. So that's been really helpful. So for me, it was starting with some small wins, just building some habits, trying not to get too bogged down in all the different ways that you can try and do planning. Like, everyone's got different ways of doing it, whether it's a diary or a journal. There are lots and lots of different apps. There are habit apps, goal tracking apps. The list goes on. One I've been using recently is called Dailyo, where it's actually a mood tracker. And what you do is you sort of say how your day is, out of from horrible through to awesome, basically. And you just put there's a smiley face you click on, and then you punch in what you did during the day. And there's a whole lot of like preset things like work, family, sport, friends, and you can customize that yourself. And then you sort of, at the end of each day, you spend 15 seconds in this app just mapping out how your day was. And I'm finding that really useful then, to be able to see within this app just a calendar of how things are progressing, and then it can also tell you what things help to make a good day and what things help to make a pretty crappy day. So that's pretty useful as well. And yeah, so being able to just do a quick review of each day, of each week, and each month. So really, I want to be able to realise the opportunities that I have, in that I do have time for myself, and I can choose what to do with that time. Understanding my limitations, in that we've all got 24 hours in a day, we've all got these finite blocks of time, and to be able to help me to be more intentional and staying focused. And also this year, knowing and just being deliberate about what I say yes to and what I say no to. There are things that we do need to do, but there are other things that if we feel like we should do, maybe we don't actually need to do them, or maybe someone else could be doing that instead. So that's just a super quick snapshot of what some of the processes I've been going through in terms of reviewing my year and how I plan and do and review what I do with work and with my personal life as well. I'd love to chat more about this with you. If you'd like me to sit down with you, please reach out. I hope this is useful, and speak to you soon.